Welcome to ArchiCAD 101, your ultimate beginner's guide to creating a fully detailed model for precise drawing extraction. Whether you are an aspiring architect, designer, or just diving into ArchiCAD, this tutorial will walk you through the essential tools and attributes you need to master. You will learn how to use 3D tools such as walls, beams, columns, zones, and roofs to build a structured model. You also look into attributes such as pens, composites, custom profiles, surfaces, and fills for accurate visual representations. You will also look at the generation of drawings such as plans, sections, 3D sections presentations, and detailed drawings effortlessly. By the end of this tutorial, you will have the skills to create a well-structured model that not only looks great in 3D, but also produces clear, professional construction documents. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more ArchiCAD tips and tricks such as this one. Let's dive in. Let's open our ArchiCAD blank canvas. We're going to start by preparing our template in order for us to develop this project efficiently. So I'm going to start by creating the stories or the levels. This project we are creating is going to be on 2-story levels. So I'm going to go here under the view map from your navigator section. Let's select one of the levels here and right click to open your story settings, or you can hit Ctrl+7 as a shortcut key. So I'm going to open the story settings. From here, beneath the ground floor, we are going to insert another level for our foundation. So I'm going to give it foundation. The depth of this foundation is going to be 1400. I'm using millimeters for this demonstration. You can also use your custom standards. So I'm going to hit OK to apply the changes. There we go. So in ArchiCAD, most of these are captured automatically. We have it already as added to the list of our stories here. So to move on, let's select our elevations and open its settings. I'm going to change the marker style for these elevations to my custom needs. So it's going to be on circle 4, and then I'm going to go here under the marker section, then adjust the size of this marker to 10 millimeters. Let's hit OK to apply the changes. Next is going to be the section. You need to have a section in place in order for you to assemble and develop a high quality 3D model efficiently. So let's go here under the viewpoint and activate the section tool. By the specifying 2 points, I'm going to place my section like that and then choose the direction of the section. So one thing that I need to do is to match up the settings of the elevation to this section. So I'm going to select it and open its settings. Go again under the marker symbol and text and change the marker style to circle 4 to match up our elevations. I'm gonna go here under marker again and set this to be 10 millimeters, again to match our elevations. We're having a little bit of a problem here. The ID for our section, it should fit within the marker. So I'm going to go here on the info box under the ID. Let's set this to be just 2 fields. So it's going to be S1. So I'm going to get rid of the other values just like that. Perfect. The other settings that I need to do, I want to have this section broken down into 2 parts. I don't want to have the section line running over my drawing. So I'm going to select this and then go back to the settings. From here, let's segment our section. Okay, and then I'm going to break it down into 2 points and hit OK to apply the changes. Perfect. This is basically the settings we need to run through before we start. I think we're good to go now. We can start assemble our project. All right, let's move ahead and start creating the project. The first tool to look at on the 3D tools is the slab. We're going to use the slab to create the footprint of this project. So I'm going to activate the slab tool, and then I'm going to start it from the ground floor, remember, and let's open or double click on the ground floor to open it up. And then by the use of geometry method of rectangular, I'm going to place this slab. So don't mind with the structure at the moment, because we're going to create our own structures to really define a perfect representation for our elements in later stage of this tutorial. So I'm going to pick or specify the first point, and then diagonally to specify the second. I can also take advantages of this dimensions tracker to key in the dimensions. So for example, the width of this is going to be 8,500, and then I will click on the downward key arrow in your keyboard to access the other dimension, and then key in 4.5, which is 4,500 millimeters. From there, I will hit enter to place my slab. So I'm going to now take this slab and position it centrally to my viewpoints, which is basically the section and the elevation. Remember, this is going to be the source of generation of our drawings, our elevations and sections and the other details. So positioning it centrally to this is key to that. So from here, we can appreciate this on 3D. So it's basically the slab on the ground floor level. I need to copy this to the other slab. We can also do this in 3D or in floor plans. So I can just quickly do it here. I'm going to pick one of the points to drag it vertically with along these guidelines, right? So this is very key, guys, to maintain your 90-degree angle. So I'm going to click on Control to add a copy, because right now I'm creating or I'm moving the original element. So to carry a copy, I'm going to hit Control in the keyboard. You would see your cursor changes or adding a plus sign. That means now you are carrying a copy. So I'm going to click it on the story 1 like that. So I now have 2 slabs or 2 floors for our 2 levels, which is perfect. So we'll move forward and create other elements such as walls, and then we're going to place the columns, then later create the roof structure for this. So let's go back to our ground plan view. I think to avoid confusion, we have 3 floors here. Let's rename the last floor so that it can represent the roof. So I'm going to right click. You can either do it on the properties here by selecting the story 2 and then renaming it to the roof. But because we're going to use this information into our sections and elevations, so if you are overriding it here, it's not going to be captured on our elevations. So it's very key to do it on the story settings. So I'm going to right click, go back to story settings again. You see here it's not yet named. I'm going to give it a name, roof or roof level. So I hit OK, so that on elevations, for example, is being captured here. So we have it here as a roof. So I can go back again and rename this one as first floor, then hit OK. This should be updated. I don't know why it's not being updated. You can go back to the floor plan and then open again the elevation. It should be now updated. Perfect. So let's go back. You can also see our elevations are in place. I mean, our slabs elements are in place according to the levels. All right. So let's go back to our ground floor and place the walls. I'm going to activate the wall tool by the geometry method of chained method. I'm going to I'm going to place this element. So this would give me an opportunity to specify multiple points like this. from here, and then click on this one, and then lastly that one. So to complete this operation on the chained method, I have to right click and then hit OK. There we go. So if we check on 3D, we have now our walls in place. You can hit O in your keyboard to activate the orbit cursor so that you can orbit around to appreciate your progress. I'm going to do the same again to select or take these walls into the other floor. So let's drag it like we did for our slab. Make sure you are along the perpendicular guideline, and then hit Control to add a copy, then go around on the top of your slab. But it's very key now to make sure all these elements are linked according to their level. For example, the walls, if you scroll down in your info box under linked stories section, you'd see it's still linked with the ground floor, which is the bottom of the wall. So we need to change this to the first floor, then set it to 0 because it has to be on the top of floor slab. And then for the top part, it needs to be linked with roof. I can see it's now the height for the total height is 6,300, which is not supposed to be the case. So I'm going to open its settings to address that. So if you look at here, we have linked it with the roof, which is perfectly linked. Now we need to get rid of this top offset to the link story. We don't want to offset it from the link story. We're going to set it to 0 so that we maintain the height of 3 meters or 3,000. Let's hit OK to apply the changes. Perfect. So let's do the same to our slab. First floor slab, if you select it, it's still linked to ground floor. It's very critical, guys, to make sure all these elements are linked to their relevant stories. So this is supposed to be on 0, on first floor. Then the offset from this reference level should be 0 again, just like that. Okay, so whatever, if I happen to adjust the story heights from story settings, for an example, all this will be adjusted automatically. Instead of having 3 meters, maybe I would say ground floor, I want it to be 4,000 or 4 meters. This should be automatically be adjusted. That's what is very critical or key or important to make sure all these elements are linked to the appropriate level. So let's go back to our 3 meter height of the floors. Okay, let's move forward and place our columns. I'm going to go to our ground floor view. Here, let's go back to the design tool palette and activate the column tool. I'm going to use the generic structure, but in this case, let's just change the material to reinforced concrete. You can go for concrete structural or reinforced concrete. And then I'm going to place 2 columns here. Or I can place 1 and then make a copy. So I'm going to place 1 from this side. I'm going to position it around 2 meters and then place it there. So I'm going to select it. I can double click on this measurement and set an accurate measurement. Okay, so that's, I'm pretty sure now it's been positioned from this wall by 2 meters. So I'm going to drag it and align it with the core structure of the walls, just like that. So if we check on 3D, we have our column positioned like this. We are not going to create a copy to the other floors, just like what we did to the other elements. In this case, we're going to just link it, the top part, to be at the roof so that it can go all the way. I'm not sure. I see it's around 5.8. It's supposed to be 6,000. Let's open its settings and address that. So you see here the offset is -200. We're supposed to be having a 0 value here so that we have a total height of 6,000. then hit OK, because this the 2 floors. It runs across the 2 floors. Perfect. So let's move forward and create the roof structure for this. I'm going to use a beam to create that. It's going to be the combination of concrete columns to steel beams for the roof structure. So I'm going to go here under the roof view. Let's open the roof view. We need to reference the underneath floor so that we can place accurately our elements. I'm going to right click on the first floor view and show this as a trace reference so that we can see it, or we can reference it into our roof plane. So let's activate the beam tool and let's, for the time being, use a generic structure, and I'm going to place it right on the middle of this column all the way to there. Then hit OK. It says, as a result of the last operation, elements have been created and or have changed their position on currently unseen stories. That means this beam we are placing is not linked to the story 1, or the height is above this current story, which is the roof. So I'm going to hit continue, and then I'll adjust that. So if you open or check on 3D, you would see it's here, but it's accurately positioned. I don't know why it was asking me to check that. So we can also check the linkage that is sitting on the appropriate or on the accurate level, which is fine. So from here we have to key in the roof pitch for our structure. Let's open its settings, and under positioning section, let's activate this slanted beam, okay, so that we can key in the pitch or the roof pitch or the angle of our roof. So it's going to be 23 degrees. Let's hit OK. Perfect. So this will be the roof truss or the roof beam for our roof structure. Okay, but this I want it to be as an I-beam. So I'm going to go to options, and under complex profiles, let's import standard steel profiles. So I'm going to key in the country code for my region here and change the geometry to be I. Then I'm going to scroll down to locate my profile. So this is, I'm gonna search for the dimensions I'm looking for. I think I'm looking for around 250 by 250 kind of a profile. I think 254 by 254 will do the work. So I'm going to select it and then add this to the project. Let's select this and then hit import. So it's been imported to our project. I need to select this beam and change the structure to a profile so that I can now link or select the newly imported profile, which is UC 250 by 250. Perfect. So I think I need to adjust the height to be right on the top edge of our column. Okay, so in later stages we're going to learn how we can detail this, because you will have to create a joint or a detail that will be a joint between a concrete column and a steel beam. So this will be in later stages. Okay, so I'm going to select these two, the column and the beam, and hit Ctrl G to group them. I'm going to group them so that if I go back to one of the levels, I'm going to select this. Make sure the suspend groups is inactive so that you can mirror a copy to the other side. I'm going to have these two of them. So let's Ctrl Shift M in your keyboard, or go here under drag, then click on this arrow. Let's drag. Sorry, it's supposed to be on mirror. I'm going to mirror a copy, or Ctrl Shift M as a shortcut key. So this will be mirrored from the midpoint of this. As a result of the last operation, that means the other elements are on unseen stories, like such as column. It's on the ground floor. I'm gonna hit OK. There we go. Then if you check on 3D, we have our 2 columns and beams in place. So we'll move ahead and create the pair lines, or place the pair lines and place our roofing sheets. Okay, so let's go back to our roof view, and then we're going to again use the beam tool to place our pair lines. Let's activate that, and I'm going to draw the pair line from here to there, then hit continue. Let's check on 3D. This is supposed to be linked to roof, which is perfectly linked. And before we position this accurately, we need to change the profile. I'm going to import a profile that I'm going to use for this pair lines. So let's go back to our complex profile under options. Let's import standard steel again. While we're still in this region, I'm going to change the geometry to now a C or U shape, so that I can scroll down and find the size I want to use. Yeah, what is this? I'm not seeing what I'm looking for, but I'm trying to confirm the size. I think I'm looking for something 150 by 50. I think you'll do the job. So let's look. Let's find something relatively closer to that. Okay, here it is, 152 by 76 will do the job. Let's add the profile to the project and then import. Okay, so from here, let's change the structure to complex profile, then select the newly imported C152 by 76 profile. I'm going to use now the section to position this. I'm going to open the section. Oh, sorry. This is the elevation. Where is the section? I'm going to select the section on the floor plan view, right click to open with current view settings. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here and select this, drag it all the way to the top. So this needs to be aligned with the profile of our beam. So you can either use one of the points here, or open it, or access or adjust it on the settings. So from here I can just click on this point, then on the pad palette let's activate rotate on. So you can rotate this like so, and then you can also key in the pitch you want to rotate, or the axis rotation. So in this case it's going to be minus 23 because the roof pitch is 23. Perfect. So let's drag this right to the top of our beam like that, and I'm going to maybe position it somewhere here. Okay, so that I can run multiple copies along the beam profile to place my pair lines. So this is going to be achieved by picking one of the points, and then on the pad palette let's activate the multiply command. So here, because I want to position this or place this by value, which is going to be a meter center to center, so I'm going to use increment and spread at this moment. Let's hit OK, and then I'm going to pick it from the center, then drag this along like that, and key in value of 1000, then hit enter. So I'm not going to, now I'm going to multiply this along the beam profile by 1000 center to center. Okay, so for best practices in ArchiCAD, you want to group elements that are on the same category, like these ones, for example, like the pair lines. So I'm going to go to 3D and select all this and Control G to group. This is very good, guys, for later edits or modification to your project. You can later decide to change the design of or the profile of your purlins, but if they're not grouped, you have to go one by one each element and change that will you know, it's not the ideal situation in ArchiCAD. The essence of ArchiCAD is to do it once, and then, you know, for the changes it has to be automated. Okay, perfect. We have now our roof structure in place. Let's go ahead and place the roofing sheets. Okay, so if I to do that, it's going to be on the roof plane. Let's open the roof plane. Let's activate the roof tool. Okay, so from here the structure, we're going to set it to just basic for now, and then if you select the material, you are going to have to create your own custom material, because we don't have the corrugated iron sheet, which is, for example, in this tutorial I want to use. So we don't have such kind of building materials in ArchiCAD on your default template. So I'm going to, before I place, I'm going to create the material first. So let's go to options, menu, and then elements, attributes. Let's open up our building materials. So I'm going to scroll down within the default list of ArchiCAD materials. I want to see, I want the category for the steel or metals. So it's always advisable, guys, to respect the structure of ArchiCAD while you are creating new elements. In this case, I want to create a metal or a steel element. I'm going to create within this category of steel. So hence, I'm going to now duplicate this by clicking on this duplicate. I'm going to rename it according to the structure. Let's say steel. Then I'm going to say this is going to be corrugated sheet. Corrugated sheet. And then if you come here on the structure and appearance, we need to change the surface to corrugated sheet. Bear in mind, guys, it started to rain this side. I don't know you can cope with the background noise of the rainfall. I hope the audio will be right. Sorry about that. I had to wait for the rain to pass so I can hit OK to now apply the changes. From here, let's activate our roof tool and set the geometry method to be single plane, and under the structure, let's change the material to the newly created building material, which is corrugated sheet. Okay, so from here I need to define the roof pivot line. The pivot line will be the side of the roof fall. So I'm going to define it by clicking on this point, and then another point will be this, and then I'll have to now choose the upward pitch of the roof, which is this side. Let me click on that one, and let's now draw a rectangle to place the roof like that. Okay, so if we check on 3D, we'll have the roof placed on this. So I'm going to select this roof, change the roof pitch to 23, then I'm going to set the offset height to 0 so that it can be accurately placed. And then another option, settings will be the thickness, which is going to be a thickness of a normal IBR or chroma deck profile, which is roughly around 50 millimeters. Okay, so let's open our section to see how this is being positioned. I think we need to really accurately position it. I'm going to zoom in here and then pick it from this point, then drag it to the top of the purlins like that. Perfect. So we have now a clean placement of our roof structure. Let's check on 3D. There we go. Okay, Moving forward will be now placement of our gutter, because we need a gutter to collect stormwater from this roof, and it will be channeled down to the ground level by the rainwater downpipes. Okay, so I'm going to go to the roof plane again and activate the object tool, because the roof gutter is in a form of an object, or comes in a form of an object. So I'm going to open its settings and search on the search bar for the gutter. There we go, we have gutter here, and then let's go down here on the gutter settings. What I need to do is to make sure the profile type is the U, and the size, the width of the gutter should be 250. The depth, I'm going to set it to 150. I'm not sure I need the hangers for this. Let's just get rid of the hangers, and then I'm going to hit OK. So let's place the header by clicking on the workspace. Then I'm going to drag it and position it right on the edge of my roof. Let's stretch it across the roof width. So let's go back to our section to make sure this is accurately positioned. So this should be sorry about that. I'm going to move it right there. Perfect. And then from there we need to stretch our roof so that it can be perfectly positioned within our gutter. So I'm going to go to 3D and let's zoom in closely here, then select the roof. I'm going to select or pick one of the edge there, and then activate the roof edge so that I can just stretch this all the way to somewhere there. Okay, so make sure it's accurately positioned. And again, the cut of the roof, I'm going to scroll down in the info box and find the roof edge angle. Let's set this to be vertical so that it can be like that. Okay, so I think the gutter needs to be raised a little bit up, like so. Okay, I'm going to adjust again the roof a little bit. All right, maybe change the depth of the gutter to something like 140. Oh, sorry about that. Should be 140, not 1140. Okay, and let's drop it down. I might go for 130, and let's make sure on the section it's accurately positioned like so. Perfect. Right, pretty impressive. So let's check on 3D. This is basically what we wanted. We have the two floors in place, our slabs are in place, the floor slabs are in place, and then we have the two columns, we have the walls, and then the roof structure. Let's move ahead and create the roof structure before we can even focus on the composites, building materials for each element, in order for us to make sure this is accurately represented. So I'm going to share something that is never shared in ArchiCAD in terms of doing footings in ArchiCAD, okay, especially for the columns. So I'm going to start by selecting the columns. This is grouped. I'm going to suspend group so that I can only select the two columns, right? And from here I will Control Shift D to carry a copy of this downwards to the level of foundation, or I can just come here on the link stories. Let's link this to foundation, and then make sure the offset from the bottom is 0, like that. I can open the settings to set this accurately. So instead of having an offset, a top offset of -6000, let's make it 0, and then also this should be 0. perfect, so that the width of, or the height of this should be the height of our what you call the depth of our footing, or the depth of our foundation. So the top link should be the ground floor, so that we have 1.4 height of our column. Let's hit OK. Perfect. So it's now accurately positioned. So now this is where the magic happens. Okay, so I'm going to select also these two, and then go back to the settings dialog. Under the segment, I'm going to segment this to create column base footing. Okay, so let's activate this multiple segmentation, and then add another layer. So there are two layers that we're going to add. This is the preview. Just bear in mind what we are creating here, it will be showed here. So what we need to do, the base, which is this bottom segment, is going to be 35%. Okay, I'm going to make it 35% because the sizes or the heights of this are a percentage, are sectioned in percentages. That is based on the depth of your foundation, which is 1.4 in this case. So this will be 35% of 1.4. So now this will be the dimensions of the base, which is going to be 1.4 by 1.4. Okay, so the top part is going to be 65% of the height or the depth of our footing, and then the sizes will be 550 for both. So this is basically what we are creating here. If you hit OK, you have now your column base footing like that. Okay, so let's move ahead and create the footings for our floors, for our walls. I'm going to go to the foundation. In this one, I'm going to use the beam tool to achieve that. Let's continue. Once again, I had to wait for the rain to pass. Like I said, let's activate the beam tool. Is the ideal tool for this kind of situations to create footing for your structure. So I'm going to activate it and then change the material to reinforced structural. Then I'm going to use the geometry method of a chain to place this element. So I'm going to specify this point, then from there to there. I'll right click to hit OK to complete the placement of the beams. So if you check on 3D, we'll have it like that. Let's select all the two, then make sure it's been linked to the appropriate story. And then one thing I need to do is to adjust the height. It's supposed to be matching the depth of our footing, and then the reference axis would be on the bottom so that it can be placed accurately like that. I'm going to use a profile to wrap around and create the footing. So unlike for the column based footing, we've used the segmentation option. In this case, we cannot afford it, or we cannot achieve it with a beam tool. Okay, so I'm going to select this, go to options and complex profile. Let's capture the profile of the selected element. Okay, so from here we're going to create a profile for our footing. So I'm going to by default, ArchiCAD will give you the profile of the selected element because this is what we've captured. So what I need to do is to add points. I'm going to pick parameters of this by activating pick parameter and then select that. So let's place a base footing using the rectangular method. That will be I'm going to have it on 700 wide, then 300 high. So that will be the base of our footing. Let's position it to the center of our origin point like that. Okay, so I'm going to stretch this one to be on the top of the footing, and then change the material of this to be a brick structural because this will be a foundation wall. Okay, So I'm gonna adjust this to that. Let's save this as footing, then hit OK. Perfect. So bear in mind the position of the origin point here is pivotal to the placement of your footing. You would understand what I mean about this when we are in the 3D model. So let's apply the profile to our beam like that. Then we need to position it accurately by using our section. I'm going to open the section, then make sure this is been positioned like that. Perfect. Let's do the same to the other side. I can do it just on 3D here by dragging this to there. Perfect. So we have almost structural elements in place. One thing that I need to do is to address this situation. We have to have the wall going all the way up, so I'm going to stretch it all the way to the height of the roof. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the roof to trim off the extent of the wall. So let's select the wall, then right click to bring solid element operation from the connect, and then by default it will pick the selected element as a target. So I need to select the roof and add it as an operator, then choose the operation to be subtraction and upward extrusion. Let's hit execute to cut it off. Okay, so we'll have a bit of a situation here. To address this, I can use the gutter as operator. I'm going to select the gutter. All right, edit as operator. I'm going to select this wall as a target, then execute. This will clean up the elements. I'm going to get rid of these two windows. It's done, it's saved its job. So one thing that we need to do here is to select this and intersect them to have a clean, perfect connections. Okay, so perfect. We're coming to the interesting part of the tutorial where we'll be creating the composite and the materials surfaces for these elements, right? I'm going to start by looking at the floor slab. So currently we are having two floor slab that are going to be on a different composite, because we have the ground floor slab which is going to sit on grade, basically meaning it's going to sit on top of a compacted material. This one is going to be suspended, so hence we're going to have a different composite for that. So I'm going to start with the top footing. Let's go to options, element attributes, to open up our composites, and then we will create a composite from scratch. I don't want to reuse the elements that are already on the list of ArchiCAD composites. Let's just hit on new down below here, and then make sure you select on new. So let's say this will be RC Echo floor slab. This will be more like an engineered floor slab. It's going to be a precast slab. So I'm gonna hit OK. From that, by default, ArchiCAD will give you just one skin on the skin structure. So let's use this as our concrete. I'm going to change this to be concrete. Sorry. Let's adjust this to concrete structural, and is it, yeah, concrete structural. Then let's set this to be 100 or 150. I think 100 millimeters will be okay. I need to insert another skin by going down below here. Let's insert the skin for the floor finish. I'm going to search for the floor tile. There we go. And set this to be 20 millimeters thick. I'm going to also treat or add the soffit underneath my floor slab. Let's insert the skin down below. This will be also 20 millimeters, and the material will be anything to do with plaster. let's search for plaster. Let's go with this one, plaster lime sand. Okay, so from here we can hit OK. Bear in mind that we have the pen's attributes here that we can decide. These elements are different, whereas they need to be in different line weights. So currently they are in one line weight, which is not the ideal situation. Will come later. I'll show you how to adjust this specifically to the elements. So I'm going to hit OK to apply the changes. Let's select the element and change the composite to the newly created RC floor slab. Perfect. I don't like the floor finish, which is this tile. I can select it, then go to options. Let's open the elements attribute, building materials. So from here, while we selected the element, ArchiCAD will select or highlight elements or materials that the elements has been selected within your model. So for example, we have 3 selected or highlight elements: a plaster lime, concrete, and the floor. This is the one that I want to adjust, the floor finish. Let's go here under the structure and appearance and change the surface to be a different tile. I'm going to go for 30 by 30 tile, and then I can hit OK. Bear in mind, again, within the building materials, we have the pen sets attributes that we can adjust. I'll also show you how this will impact your graphics within your views in later stage of this demonstration. Let's hit OK to apply the changes. Now we've adjusted the floor finish. What we need to do now is to create the slab on grade composite. I'm going to go back to elements attributes and open up the composite. This time around again, I'm going to duplicate on this echo slab. Let's just hit here and hit on duplicate. I'm going to get rid of the echo, then slab on grade. Perfect. So this, I'm going to get rid of the line. I can add the compaction underneath, but for this demonstration, I think it's perfect. We have just 2 skins here, the reinforced concrete and the floor finish. Let's hit OK, then select the element and apply the floor composite. Perfect. So I can see we're having a bit of a situation to address here between the floor finish and the column based footing. So I'm going to select these 2 because they have to be underside the floor finish. This has to be underside the floor finish in this case, which is the tile. So I'm going to drag this by Control D and drag it vertically. Make sure you hold Shift in your keyboard so that you can restrict it within this yellow guideline, and then I would move it right underneath my floor tile. Perfect. That's how it should be positioned. Perfect. So let's go to our section and appreciate the elements. Okay, so we are having this going all the way, our core structure going all the way, which we are going to later change and fix depending on the composites of the wall that we are going to create. Okay, so let's move ahead and create the composite for our wall. I'm going to go back to options, element attributes, and open the composites section. In this case, I'm going to hit on new again. This make sure the new option is being selected. Then this is going to be a, because our walls are in 2 different composition. The top walls are going to be having cladding from the outside. So the bottom one for the ground floor is going to be exposed brick. So I'm going to create 2 composites for our wall structure. So let's say this one will be for the top wall composite, and then hit OK. So here we have the brick, which is what we want. I'm going to set this to be 1:110. Sorry, It's going to be 110 millimeters. Okay, so I need to create, oh, sorry about that. I hit escape by let me fix my, sorry about that. Let's go back to our composite. I hit escape by a mistake, sorry about that. And then let's open our composite, create a new, let's make sure the new has been toggled, then set this to be top wall, hit OK. So like I said, this will be 110. I'm going to add another skin on top of this. Let's hit insert. This will be an airspace, so I'm going to create an airspace of 100. So basically this will be the space where you put the structure to install or mount your cladding. So I'm going to insert another skin above this to be corrugated sheets, because we created the material for the corrugated sheets. This will be at 50 millimeters thick. Then it's going to be installed within the structure that we are going to assemble within the airspace gap. So we move down to the brick. We need to also to create a cavity for these two bricks. So I'm going to insert two skins. This one is going to be again an airspace, because like it's a cavity and it's going to be 50. So the gap between the cavity, or the cavity gap, is going to be 50 millimeters. So the bricks from the inside is going to be exposed. I'm hoping this brick will be a first brick that will look nice on the inside of the structure. So basically this is what I have for the top wall. So I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to assign this just for the walls instead of other tools, and then hit OK. Let's now select the top wall. Let's select the top wall instead of the top wall. Change the composite to the newly created top wall composite. Perfect. Okay, so let's move ahead and create the bottom or the lower wall composite. I'm gonna go back and then open the composites. I'm going to duplicate this one because what we're going to create is more or less closer or similar to what we've created so far, because we're getting rid of just the corrugated or cladding from the outside. So I'm going to duplicate this and call it lower wall. Okay, select it and then get rid of the corrugated sheets and then the airspace. We're going to just create a cavity wall. Okay, hit OK to apply the changes. Let's select what happened. This is supposed to be on. Okay, I've swapped this. Let me go back and adjust the naming. So this is supposed to be bottom wall or lower wall, and then this is going to be top wall. Hit OK. What's going on? This is supposed to be top wall. There's a bit of a problem here. Let's go back again and swap the naming. This, like I'm saying, supposed to be bottom wall, and then I'm gonna have this as top wall. Okay, so this is supposed to be on top. All right, and then the bottom one should be on bottom wall. Okay, so we need now to align this. I'm going to select the top one. Let's align it with that. because we need to have the cladding to protrude. So if you check on 3D, we'll have something like that. Okay, perfect. That's basically what I wanted. And then in the space here, this is where we're going to place the purlins or the C channels to install our cladding. I think let's quickly do that. I'm gonna open the first floor and activate the beam tool, and this is going to be a profiled beam. So I'm going to change this to a profile, and let's check. Oh, we didn't create or import the beam or the channel that we're going to use for this installation. I'm going to go back to options. Let's open the import standard steel profile window and select your region, change the geometry to a C. I'm looking for something, I think this will do the job. 100 by 50. G1 is no, I'm looking for the height. The G1 should be 50. I'm gonna scroll here and find something of that nature. Okay, let's select this one. I think it will do the job. I'm gonna add it to the project, hit import, and change this to the newly imported C channel. Where is it? Must be this one. Okay, so I'm going to draw this here to there. Right click and then hit OK. So if you go back to your section, we have our C channel there. I'm going to select one of these points and rotate the axis by 90 degrees. I think let me have it this way. Okay, then I'm going to drag it by using a drag tool from the pad palette and then position it somewhere here. I'm going to make a copy. Let's Control Shift D to make a copy to the top of your element. So I'm going to key in, it's going to be around 2.7 space between. Perfect. So if we check on 3D, that's basically what we wanted to achieve. That airspace will accommodate these C channels for the installation of our cladding. I'm not pretty sound with the cladding texture that we can eventually change. I think we can just do it now. Let's select it. I'm gonna select one of these, either the roof or the wall, because they share the same surfaces. I'm going to go to the element attributes, this time around under surfaces. So like on the building materials, the surfaces also, if we've selected the element within your project file, the material will be highlighted. So we have the brick red, which is the core material. Let's scroll down, we'd find the corrugated material. So I'm going to go here under the texture. I'm going to change the texture to something of my liking. So let's click on this browse material. I can widen up this window to be able to see. I think let's scroll down between this standing steam. I'm looking for a charcoal gray. Let's see. I think something like that. Yeah, something of this nature would do the job. Let's hit OK and OK. Perfect. So we're basically having that. This is pretty much better for what I was looking for. Okay, so basically when you are dealing with this kind of installation, you'll have to close up the gap, the bottom gap, because you don't want to have you would have animals starting to breed within these spaces. So you need to close it up and seal it out so that there's nothing really can go in there. So let's go back to our section. What you need to do is to select this. I'm going to select or take advantage of the C channel or this element Control Shift D to duplicate it right down below our cladding sheet. I'm going to change this profile. Let's check, maybe there's something that we can use here. I think we need something like an L section. No, I don't think L section will do. We still need a C section, but a wider C section. Let me just get the measurement first. I'm going to activate the measure tool. So from here to there is around 150. So I'm gonna need a profile of this that will address 150. So let's go back to our complex profile, import the standard steel. Sorry, change the geometry to C, and scroll down to find G is around 178. I think this would work. I'm going to add and import. Let's check this if it will work. I'm going to select this point and rotate, position it like so. Okay, I don't think it's that accurate, so let me measure from here to there. We need exactly 150. I can customize this if I want, but I would need a standard size for this channels. Otherwise, to customize it, fabrication, might adjust the cost or the budget of the project. So normally you'd want to use standard, but if it does nothing available of that nature, if there's no size that is available, you would have to customize it. Like for example, if I had to customize this, I can right click on it and then edit the profile. So I'm going to edit the profile. Basically in the inside should be 150. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to stretch this, then also this one by 11, and then make sure these hotspots are perfectly aligned. Then you can hit save and then check the results on 3D. I think we need to adjust the positioning. Perfect. I don't think this is accurate because we need to have this right on the surface of our wall in order for it to be bolted on this wall. So I'm going to go back, edit, then move this by 11, stretch this again by 11. Let's make sure the hotspots are adjusted as well, and then hit save. So if you check on the section, it should be pretty much, wow. Left with this small gap of 3 millimeters. I don't know what happened. I should do it on this side. So stretch this by 3 millimeters, and again 3 millimeters. Select all the hotspot, align them like so, hit save. Should be fine now. Perfect. So that's basically how you create this kind of details. You'd want to get it right on the model so that when you create a 2D detail or extract a 2D detail from here, it's just for you to add annotation instead of now using or use 2D tools to edit your detail. So I like it to do it this way instead of doing it the other way around or traditionally. So if we check on 3D, we have something like that. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I need to fix the issue of the slab position, what I need to do is to select this and pick one of the edge this side and then offset. This is supposed to be right on the edge of supposed to be sitting on the internal brick like that. And then this oh, I need to adjust because of the composite. I need to adjust my footing elements. Let's go back and select that, adjust it. Which one? This? Okay, let's undo. I've picked the wrong element, so this is supposed to be that, and the width of this is 270, so I need to adjust my footing because it's bigger than 270. Let's edit, right click and edit the composite and set. I'm gonna set this to be 270. Okay, let's stretch this to there. Move your profile, your hotspot. Let's centralize this. It needs to be on the center, something like that. Then hit save. Automatically it will be updated. So we need now to adjust this to there. Perfect. So that's basically how it works. Okay, so for the lower grade it's fine. The concrete will have to go all the way to the outside or to the external skin. Okay, we haven't applied the composite to this wall. So I'm going to pick the parameters by Alt and hold in your keyboard, then click on this material or the element, then Control Shift hold and then click on that. Right, do the same to this one. Pick parameter by Alt, hold, click, then Control Alt hold, then place. Okay, so this needs to be stretched all the way to there. We're having a bit of an issue here. We can just stretch that a bit. Okay, so from this side, let me close off the profile manager. From this side, I don't have to see the elements. I think they're fine because we're going to have what you call a wedge flashing around here. It's going to be installed in this purlin tails, so I'm going to leave them as it is now for the purposes of that. Right, okay, so let's deal with the issue of the collection of water from the gutter to the surface of the ground. But I just used the object to place my gutter, which isn't the ideal situation, because now we need to create a feel of a hidden gutter that will be incorporated to the cladding. I don't know you get what I'm trying to explain, but let the demonstration explain it. So I'm going to get rid of the gutter and go to the section. So move it up here. What I want is to select this element and stretch it all the way to the level of the roof, because we want the gutter to be hidden. Okay, so I need to draft a gutter profile here, and then I'm going to use a profile to create a gutter. Okay, so let's go here under the document tools and select the polyline. So this will be coming from the inside of your roof like that. It will go all the way to the edge of your wall, then should go all the way by depth of 250, then the width will be 270. Then I'm going to create something like that. Sorry about that. Let's go down, and from the outside we're gonna have a 350 flange. Then hit enter, right click, hit enter. So this is pretty much the profile we created. I'm going to change the color so that it can be visible. All right, so we can customize or tweak a little bit the profile of our gutter, but for this, for the sake of this, I might have to just angle it a bit, because for purpose of rain, you don't want to have a flat surface like that. I want to promote this by angling my gutter at the edge like that, so that I allow for the flow of water not to be held on top of the gutter like that. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so from here we need to copy this. I'm gonna right click and copy, and let's open up our profile manager. So go to options and then profile manager and create a new profile. This will be our steel gutter, then hit OK. So because I've duplicated the other material, so we'll have this. I'm going to get rid of everything and Control V to paste my my profile. Let's just paste it within the center of the, like that. Oh, I think I made a mistake. I could have offset the edges before I copied this side. So let me go back to the section and let's offset the edge by 5 millimeters. Okay, and then select the two, right click, copy, go back to our profile manager. I think this, we have to get rid of it so that we can remain with the origin point. I'm going to Control V to paste the elements, paste it within the center of the view, and then I'm going to use this midpoint to place it on the origin, like so. Perfect. From here, let's activate the fill to trace off this. The material will be a steel. Let's go for a steel material. Then I'm going to use the polygonal geometry method to place this. So I'm going to trace it over like that, point by point. I'm gonna quickly trace this. Yeah, like so. Then there we go. Okay, so I can hit save to apply the changes. By the way, we've removed some of the modifiers, so it will ask us to continue. So I'm going to go ahead and remove, hit OK. Then let's go back to our section. There we go. I'm going to take advantage of the profile of this what you call the purlins, and then Control Shift D to make a copy all the way to here. Let's position it right there, and then I'm going to apply this currently or newly created steel gutter to that. Perfect. So because it's been rotated, I need to go back to its settings here. Then under the end cuts and reference axis, let's set this to be 0. Perfect. Then I'm going to mirror, because this is supposed to be on the outside. Let's mirror it vertically like so. Perfect. So in 3D, let me close off this. Make sure it's accurately positioned. I'm going to move it right there. we can now delete our 2D elements. Perfect. So if we check on 3D, we'll have something like that. All right, so I need to use this as an operator to trim off my top ends of my wall. So I'm going to select the wall, right click, go to connect, solid element operation, and select the gutter as an operator. Change the operation to subtraction with upward extrusion. If you hit execute, this is what you will create. Yes, we're having a bit of an issue here between the corrugated iron sheets and this material. I think it's an issue of the priority connection. So if I to select these two material and then go to options and open building materials, you would see, let's scroll down and find the steel gutter, the steel corrugated sheet, and then the steel. So the steel intersection priority is at 950. So if you look at the corrugated sheet, it's more than that. So let's drop it down a bit because it's just a sheet. Let's drop it down to 420. If you hit OK, that will be sorted, or the issue will be sorted like that. Perfect. So I want the, okay, here we need also to trim off this wall. So I'm going to come here on the solid element operation window, select the wall, add it as a target. The gutter will be an operator, then subtraction with upward extrusion. So boom. So that will be our gutter like that. I don't know what's going on here. I think we need to select these two and intersect them like so. Perfect. This side of our wall needs to be, oh, we need to align this accordingly. This needs to be aligned accordingly. The wall, I didn't align it. Perfect. That will lead us to another problem that we need to solve. Let me offset that. And then select these two, intersect. I'm going to use or stretch, extend my gutter all the way to the edge of this wall to trim it off like that. Perfect. I'm impressed. So, but if you look at with in the inside of our gutter, we still have our columns protruding or encroaching that we shouldn't have it that way. So let's go back to our section, and I think if we measure this distance from there, it's 92. That's what we need to reduce the profile to that value. I'm going to edit the profile. Then let's move this by, I'm gonna get rid of the 2D lines. Let's get rid of the 2D lines like that. So stretch this by 92 so as to this one, 92 millimeters. I'm going to drag it to there, then hit save, go back to the section and position this to the top of our column. So we'll have now a clean position of our gutter like that. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these two windows. Perfect. So we'll need this element again to wrap around to the other side as well. So pretty much everything needs to be, you have to be aware with how all the elements are sitting. So like I'm saying, this you should have to be applied even if you are doing creating the entire project. I know I'm focusing on the specific portion of the project, but it's the same thing basically what you're going to do, or the exercise when you're creating either a big or small project. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this, like I said, needs to be on the other side. I can go to the first floor, select that, Control Shift M. I'm going to use this angle of 45 to place this other side. So if we check on 3D, we can intersect this side. I'm going to stretch it all the way to there. Okay. Oh, my foundation needs to also to be intersected. All right, so pretty much we're having a healthy model. So almost every elements are sitting appropriately and the connections are perfect as well. So we can move on to further detail our project. So I'm seeing we are having this kind of bricks. I might decide to change it to something else, or custom bricks if I want, but for the sake of this demonstration, let's keep it this way. Okay, so we'll now move on to the next stage of the tutorial. All right, we're going to move ahead and place the downpipe, because we already have now our gutter in place. We need to have a system where we are taking the water from the top down to the ground surface. So I'm going to go to the roof plane, and let's activate the object tool. The downpipe is gonna come as a form of an object, so I'm going to search from the ArchiCAD default library to search for the downspout. Here, let's move down to the downspout settings. I'm going to create a rectangular, this corrugated one. So let's make it I think square will be fine. And then we need to set up the hangers distribution position. So I'm going to change the position to be uniform, and 600 will be the distance between the hangers. Then hit OK. Let's place the downpipe there. Where is it? Let's select it and then right click to bring it to front, because yes, something like that. So if we check on 3D, you will have it that way. I think I need to link it to the ground floor, and let's stretch it all the way to the top. Then from the ground floor, let's make sure the positioning it's accurate. It's going to be on the surface of the column that way. So if we check on 3D, so it's going to run through the space between the cladding and the brickwork like that. Perfect. So I think I would stretch it a bit there. Let's duplicate a copy, then open its settings. I'm going to change this to be a sprout. So let's set the settings to match the downpipe and then hit OK. So that will be pretty much that. Let me position it all the way down like that. Okay, I'm going to have the same arrangement to the top, but this one, let's do it within the section view. So I'm going to stretch this section so that it can be closer, like so. I'm going to move it on top of this column, right click, or just open it from here. I want us to be able to see the gutter, So like I'm saying, this arrangement here, we need to turn it off and then to service the gutter. So I'm going to either duplicate this from here and then change it to an offset, right? Make sure the settings match up your gutter as well. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I'm going to position it right from the top underneath the gutter. Let's mirror it to the other side like that. I need to stretch it from here. Oh, where is it? I think it should be on this point. Yeah, perfect. Right on the middle of the gutter. You can play around with your angles like that and achieve whatever measurement. I don't want to be clashing with this element. Maybe that way, something like that. And then this needs to be stretched again to down. Perfect. We have now a full system for carrying the water from the top down to the ground level. Okay, so now I need to select the entire system, and hit F5 to show the elements on 3D. Let's select it and group, because we'll have to duplicate it to the other column as well. So make sure the suspend group is inactive. So I'm going to Control-Shift-D to carry a copy to the other columns like that. Perfect. So I'm going to right click, show all in 3D. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm going to place a window here, a special window. The reason I'm saying it's a special window, it has to go across all these cavities and then the cladding. So let's go back to the ground. It's going to be situated on the first floor level. I'm going to activate the window tool and open its settings. I'm going to find just under the basic tool, let's find just a double search window. And if we go through the settings, the parameters, I'm looking for the casing outside. That's the parameter I'm looking at. Okay, the material needs to be I'm going to go with steel, aluminum. Let's move on with the pages. I'm looking for the casing outside. Okay, I'm going to activate the casing outside. Then I can click on this tab to access its parameters. So the casing outside right now, it projects with 25. So I want it to be around 300 projection. Okay, so and I need to change the material for this to be, let's change it to be on a paint color. I'm gonna go with this yellow, then hit OK. Let's place it right on the center of this wall. Let's check on 3D. This is basically what I wanted. Perfect. So let's check it inside. Wow, we need to treat off again the elements here. Maybe is the, let's select it, is the offset, the reveal core, make it 300. And I'm going to have a seal. Let's go back. I can have the inside casing as well. Okay, inside casing of a normal projection. Then let's click on this arrow to find the seal. Let's locate the seal and then activate the seal. The seal type is going to be a steel steel type. Where is the steel? Metal steel. Okay, hit OK. because the reason why I want the seal, especially to the outside, is because you'd want this will be naturally on a flat, so you want to slope it a bit so that water shouldn't be stuck here. The only thing that I need to change is the material. Instead of wood, I would need a let's go here. Instead of wood, I would want metal steel, and hit OK. Perfect. Right, so my section is going to cut right through this window. So I'm going to cut it like that. So if we check on 3D, this will be exactly the same thing. See, this is now my metal seal that is a bit slanted so that water doesn't really stays there when it rains. Perfect. Okay, yeah, pretty much everything is in place now. It's the right time to generate the drawings. Alright, once you've assembled a great model, it should be pretty easy to generate drawings, right? But before you can think of generating the drawings, you need to put into consideration the pen sets, your graphical theme. So you have to come up with just a concept on how you want to visualize your elements. In this case, I'm going to set up my pen sets that all these elements going to be represented. So if you look at this, everything here is on default, right? You see different sorts of colors, even for your what you call your sections. You have this funny colors. By the way, the section needs to be on 1:50 scale, so I'm going to change this to 1:50 to blow up the details a bit. So we're going to adjust most of the things here in your fields. We're going to adjust maybe the scale and do a bunch of things. Okay, so like I'm saying, you need to start off by looking at the pen sets, which is your line weight. You need to come up with your line weight and create a concept. So if I had to go here under view and on-screen view options, if you activate the true line weight, you would see the current situation. So this is that. You'd see some of these things are thick, but you don't want them to be thick, and there's not really a concept here that needs to be followed. So we're going to create that. So I'm going to go down here. It's either to access your pen weight, either you go down here under the pens, or you go back to your options elements, because pens are part of the attributes. So far, let's go back. So far we've covered the surfaces, we've created the building materials, we've created the composites, and also the profiles. So we're moving on to the pens. We'll later go on and adjust some of the fields here. So let's click on the pens, and you will have this default list of pens that comes with your template. But I want to create a monochrome kind of a theme where almost everything is onto shades of black and grays, like that. Okay, but before you create the pen sets in ArchiCAD, you need to understand the pen sets or the color table structure, how it's been structured. I like to follow and respect the structure because every pen or every pen in the color table represent elements. For example, the first pen, which is pen 1 in the color table, is just for general drafting. So if you move on to second, is 2D elements in general. So this one will be for your openings, your doors and windows, just like that. And then each of this has a color and a weight, which is in millimeters, and also has a description there that you can also reference with what this color or pen for or for what kind of elements are supposed to be under this color. Okay, so I'm going to start by this one. For my windows, so this will be a line or a row, sorry, a column for the openings, my doors and windows. So I'm going to start with the top one, change this to be a darker gray. I'm going to scroll down here to 45 by 45 gray, and then hit OK. So this will be, I'll have to leave it at 0.18 as an adequate or ideal line weight for the windows. And then move on to the second one. This I'm going to make it medium gray, and it should be on 0.15. Let's do this. Also, this is going to be on light gray, and I'm going to make it 0.10. All these are going to be on lighter gray, 0.10. That's the weight. So as this one, light gray, this will be on 0.05. I'm going to have light gray as well on this, 0.05. Perfect. So move on to the other element, which is objects. This will be the column for all the objects. So I'm gonna start with the objects. I want to keep them at medium gray. Okay, and I think the pen, let's make it 15. This will be that gray, 15. This gray also, this will be 0.10. Then this one will be on lighter gray, make it 0.10. Both these ones, I'll select these two, make them light gray, 0.10. Okay, so move on to the fifth column, which is for annotation. Here is tricky. I'm going to have a mixture of different colors because I have envisioned my concept of annotation. So it's going to be on red. This I can later come back and adjust depending on how the elements are reacting. All right. So this will be annotation. What about this? Annotation for markers. This also should be, this is going to be on this one, on lighter gray. Maybe one is to 18. This one is going to be on darker gray for arrowheads. Darker gray. Yes, 25 is fine. Then this, I'm going to make it light gray. This one also going to be a light gray, and this I'm going to make it red color. Like I said, I'm going to have a mix of this. Okay, so let's move on to the sixth column, which is for also annotation, text and general. So the first two, I'm going to leave them at let's leave them on blue. I'm going to change the third one to be on color red as well, and the rest should be fine. I'll come back again and adjust if I want. So, but these are the how I envisioned my graphics presentation. So the seventh column, this is fine. This is for the walls. I think walls are fine on this one. This is columns. I'm going to select these two to be black, column should be on black color. I don't know why it's funny. Even this one should be on black, and then the remaining ones should be on lighter gray. So these ones should be on light gray. Okay, move on to, no, this should be on light gray, because this is for the finish of the columns veneer, basically the finish. So I'm going to give it a gray color. This is our slab. The footprint of the slab should be on the lighter gray, then the cut elements should be on black, and then the remaining ones, okay, this also should be on black, then the remaining ones are going to be on light gray. Okay, so this is, I'm moving on to the beams. Beam, the outline, I'm going to make it gray, then the cut, obviously black, and then this one is going to be a lit gray. Then these two, I'm going to make the, okay, no, this one, let's say this is going to be a medium gray, and this going to be, the cut is going to be black, and it has to be on heavy pen. Let's make it 50, 0.50, and then we are moving on to the railings. Railings are fine, I can just leave it the way it is, because I don't have the railings in my project for now. But if you have your railings, you have to set your ideal pen sets for that. Okay, so pretty much everything up. I think I need to come on this one. This is the masonry cut line, which is the bricks. Let's make it black. Okay, and then this one is going to be on the gray side. So also this would be lighter gray. Also this one will be on medium gray. Okay, this is what metals. I have metals here. I'm going to have it on this gray, then lighter gray. Perfect. So all these ones, brickwork cut lines, concrete cut lines, this I'm going to make it black, and this will be gray. What are this? This is the concrete for slab. Should be this one gray, and this one also gray. Okay, I can come back and adjust if I want, but for now I think I've set pretty much all the elements that are within my model. So I'm going to store this, and I'm going to call it MS architectural 1:100. If you want this pen sets, let me know in the comment section so that I can attach it on the description so you can download it. Or if you just comment and put your email there, I'll send it direct to your mail. Okay, I'm going to store it, then hit OK to apply the changes. So this is basically the arrangement of our line, our pen sets. When we were creating the composite, we didn't pay much attention to the pen sets of each element. Hence we see there's no value, which is elements are on one color, on one weight. So we need to adjust that. I'll start with these walls and right click. Let's hit edit and selected composite. Within the walls, we have to come up with also a concept. Here everything should be on the lighter pen, and then except the bricks, the actual walls, right? So for example, the brickwork is supposed to be on pen for the walls. We have a wall cut here, brickwork cut lines, which is, sorry, where is it? I have brickwork walls cut lines here. It's on 0.99. This is okay, 0.35. Okay, 0.35 I think is fine. I can later come and adjust it. So everything here would be 27 in terms of the bricks. So this one will be on pen 27. This is 27. This is the if you want to really reference which specific element you are changing, look at your preview here. So because I've selected this material, these are the line that I'm going to change. So if I select this, so I'm changing this line, the bottom line. So this will be 27. So I have pretty much, oh, as well, this should be 27. And then the corrugated sheet should be on metal. I think I have metal, where is it? Metal, yes, this one. And also, which is pen 166. Okay, so for the cavity, is going to be on the same as well. I'm going to put it 166 as well. Okay, so if you hit OK, you'd see the magic. You see now we have this on a lighter pen, so we only have these two core bricks on a heavier pen. Okay, pretty much what we wanted. All right, we have a situation here. This needs to be down below your something like that. Okay, I need also to apply it to the other slab. Perfect, to the other footing as well. All right, but for the foundation wall, I see, let me edit this and check. This is on pen 30, pen 30, which is 0.35. I think it's pretty much the same with the other ones. Let's go back again, and oh, because we've been editing the one for the top wall, let's now go for the lower wall. So this again, we're going to change it to wall 35, which is pen 27. So everything here is going to be 27, except the airspace, that is going to be 166 to match the other wall, and then the rest is going to be on pen 27. Then hit OK. Perfect. So you'll have this thick lines that really stands out within your section. Okay, we're pretty done for the walls. Let's move on to our, we still have to modify our gutter. Our gutter is made up of a profile. Let's edit it and see the line width being used. Because this is a metal, I'm going to assign it for the metal cut. Okay, then let's hit save. If we go back to our section, it's now being reduced. Okay, so let's move on to the what you call the floor slabs composites. I'm going to select this one, right click, edit the selected composite. The concrete should be the thickest. The tile should be on pen, there's a floor tile which is here, 0.20. Let's make it 164. 164. This is the plaster. Let's search for the plaster. Plaster should be on, there we go. We have a plaster here. Oh, sorry. Is this a plus? Where is it? This the one, 176. 176. And then this is a reinforced concrete. Concrete is here. Cut lines, which is, oh, this is going to be slab cut. All right, 27. So it's going to be 27. This one 27 as well. Oh, sorry, this one also needs to be 27. Okay, that's pretty much how you adjust your pen weights to specifically suit your elements. Then hit OK. So we'll have this that way. And then one thing that we need to be very careful with, let me come here and switch off the line weights, the true line weights. You see, we can't have a floor finish going through all the way. It has to stop on the core brick so as to the underneath soffit for our what you call our slab. So we need to select this material and adjust its intersection priority. So let's go back to the building materials, and the tile and the plaster lime should be less strong. It should be weak. Where is the tile? The tile is fine. It's around this. Maybe let's check the brick structural. The brick structural should be all the way here. Okay, let's hit OK and see the results. Perfect. We've had this been resolved. We're still left with the tile. Okay, this needs to be adjusted all the way to there so that it can cut. Perfect. So pretty much having everything sorted. I think this should be somewhere there. Okay, that's how you create or you resolve the intersection connection of your elements. It's very critical, guys, for your model. You need to have this kind of exercise before you can even cut a detail there. Okay, so we are having pretty much everything in place in terms of the line weights. So even if on 3D I had to change this to MS100, you would see we have a newly shade of gray pen sets. So to our elevations, I'm going to go here on the view map and open up my section, because this section I need to go to its settings right down below on the properties and key in permanently the pen sets we've created, which is MS100. Okay, and then the scale should be 1:50 as well. Then hit OK. So boom, that's the theme that I wanted to achieve, guys. So for the elevations as well, we're going to do the same. I'm going to select the parent selection of the elevation, or you can just select all your elevations like that, and then go to settings, change the pen sets to MS architectural, and I think the scale is fine at 1:100. Then hit OK. So if we select one of the elevations, you'd oh, we didn't change the pen. What happened? Go to its settings, change the pens. Maybe it wants me to change one by one. All right, I see. We need to adjust a bit the I need to identify this text, which color they have been assigned. So for example, let's go to our plane view and select all the elevations. But before I do that, I need to key in, even for the floor plans, let's select the parent folder and change the pens to MS100. So if I open one of these, should, yeah, perfect. So even the first should adjust. So what I need to do is to select all the elevation markers, open its settings. What I want is under the story levels story level text. I might uniform, but I don't want that. So I'm going to go here under story levels and simple text. This is where I want. These are the pens. Okay, I think it's under the, yes, here. So you see the marker is the text. Where's the text? Oh, text is here. So let's change this to, so you see the text, which is pen 6, should be on a red color. Okay, I'm going to go back and adjust my pencils. I'm not going to override within the, because I'm thinking for future. If you want to develop a template, this is how you do it. You set the pens that will be can be implemented across all the project. So if I had to give you this, if you load it, if you've used default pens, it will pick it because you are using the structure of your ArchiCAD. So if you apply them into your future project or even your current project, if I had to send you this, it will automatically work, unlike you now have to assign it manually within the element settings. So I'm going to change this to be pen red, hit OK. So if you go to your elevations, this should be updated. Wow, it didn't update. How on earth this is still persisting? So let's go back to the settings. It's still on pen 6. Oh, I didn't save the changes, guys. Sorry about that. So I change this to color red, then I need to store as and override this as well, so that this can ultimately change. Perfect. So that's basically what I want. Let's go back to our section because we're still under this section. One thing that I need to do is to adjust this the scale of the hedge, especially for the bricks. So I'm going to select one of the bricks or the walls, then go back to elements. Let's this time around open our fields. ArchiCAD will select automatically your fields that are on the element that is being selected within your file. So I'm going to set this to be 0.5, the scale to be 0.5, and then hit OK for the common brick. This will give me a nice hedge around my wall like that. So as you can see, now this is starting to take shape. Okay, one thing that I need to adjust is the color of the columns. So if I come here, I can identify the uncut pen is pen 88, which is this one. I need to modify to make it light gray. Pen 88, where is it? Pen 88, I want to make it dark gray, sorry. Dark gray like that, hit OK. Store and override. Perfect, it's nicely done. I like it. All right, perfect. So from here we can continue and add more details to our sections. We're talking about what you call the annotations and other dimensions, right? All right, let's move ahead and create more details to our section. So I might maybe just reduce this a little bit to somewhere here to crop it a bit. Okay, I can do the same to the other side. I don't think I'm pretty sound with having the levels on both sides. So let's go back and select our section, right click, go to its settings. What I want to do is under the story levels, I want to just have it on one side. So I'm going to uncheck the other box, then hit OK. If you go back, so that will disappear. And one thing that I need to do as well is applying now the annotations to this. But before we do that, we need also to have the true representation of the elements. So like for example, this hatching, I might restrict it to see this wall. So for example, this section, I might say restrict the range. I don't want to have the background, so that I can have a clean background like that. Okay, this is pretty much impressive. So let's go ahead and place some annotations. With the recent version of ArchiCAD, we have the keynotes, a very important feature that I really embarked on and immediately implemented into my workflow. So it will optimize your workflow. Definitely, I absolutely love the feature. So let's go to the documents and open the keynotes. The default keynotes window will have a blank elements. You have to set up your own structures of your nodes to your project. So for example, I had created nodes for my project, so I'm going to import it. Let's load it here on the import, and I have it here. If you want this keynotes, guys, let me know in the comment section as well. I'll link it on the description so you can use this to your demonstrations as well. So I'm going to open it and then hit OK. So basically this is pretty much everything that you need. So and I will use this. For example, if you open the roof, you have different nodes for the roof. You have roofing sheets, the structure, everything, the drain, everything. So as to the brickwork as well, which is, we have the foundation, where is the brick? The brickwork is here. We have different types of the bricks or masonry, you may call it that way. Okay, so I can close up this window because I don't need it at the moment. What I need is the label tool. So I'm going to go to the documents and then activate the label tool. You'll see how this is a versatile tool to pull in data, to visualize it and present it. So for example, I'll start with the roof. Let's click on the roof. Okay, and then instead of typing the specification or the node, I'm going to use this insert a keynote. Wow. So I'm going to straight away or directly access my nodes. So I'm going to add the name and then add the node. Okay, so bear in mind, because there are two elements here, which is the name that I've added and then the node. So I need to separate them by hitting enter, so that you can have the name and then the description. Perfect. And then you hit outside. So I will need to select this, stretch it to fit in. Let's use this stretch and stretch it this side. I would want to position my annotation on this side, so I'm going to select this and mirror to the other side. Okay, let's maybe drag it, stretch it a bit further from the drawing, like so. Perfect. So you can also even define the arc of your leader like that, which is pretty cool feature to have. Okay, so one thing that I need to change is the color of my annotation, and then the color of the the leader or the pointer in this case. So I'm going to go here on the info box under the font size and pen. Let's check which color is this. Text and symbol under, which is pen 76. So I'm going to go back to my pens and let's identify 76. I'm going to make this on a color gray, dark gray to be precise. Then hit OK. Perfect. So everything of my annotations will be on this color, which is color gray. So I can now quickly place my annotations like that. So for this will be for the for the purlins. I'm gonna double click on it, get rid of the roof, and then insert. For that, let's find under steel. I think we'll have that, the purlin, which is 150 by 150. Is this one? I think it's 150 by 150. Yes. Then add the dimensions and then add the description. Let's come here again. Like I'm said, you need to separate them like that. Perfect. We move on to the other element, which is going to be the roof beam. I'd like to have all my annotations to share the same point of alignment, which is very critical. If you really want to create a well-presented drawings, you need that. So I'm going to insert the let me say under the roof might have the prefabricated steel truss. Let's add the description and the name. Let's do that. Perfect. We move on to the window. I'm going to align it with the other ones. Double click on it, get rid of the material, insert for the window. I'm sure I have something for the windows. Yes, there we go. Add, separate the name and the description, just like that. I'm gonna go for the cladding and apply that. Insert. For the cladding here, we have a cladding sheets. Add the description and then add the notes. Let's separate these two, and I'll have to trim it off by stretching it all the way to somewhere there. Okay, it will need a bit of adjustment to there. Perfect. So I would need the one for my floor. Let's move in this there. I'm going to align it like that. So double click, get rid of the material, insert, because this is under floor, so I have this echo floor slab. Add the description and the name as well. Hit enter. There we go. Let's go for the gutter as well. There we go. Double click, get rid of the material inside, insert your keynote. So roof, I'm gonna go with the downpipe, which is this RDW or RWP. Lastly, I'm gonna go for the floor slab. Double click. I can put as many information I want. It will depend on the time but with the use of with the help of the keynote, you can put as many as you can see. I'm enjoying even placing some annotation unlike before. This is for the concrete roof slab. This is for the roof slab, not for the floor. Might be, yes, this one. Something like that. Like that. Okay, so I might decide to reduce the size of the text and the arrow. Let's select everything, and text will be at 2, and that means stretching these elements again. Like that. And that. Okay, let's select all again and change the size of the arrow. You can scroll in your info box and locate the arrow size, which is here. Make it 1. Yes, something like that. Perfect. So the size of the text will be dependent on your layout sheets, because you'd want to have the same the same height across all your drawings that you are placing within the layout. So I'm not gonna bother much on this level, but once I'm creating the layout sheet, that's where now I'll run through all the heights of my text to make sure it's pretty consistent across all the drawings within that layout. So right now it's fine, I'll leave it as it is. And one thing that I need to do is to show you how to create now further detail. For example, if you want to create a detail for this area, so you'll have to go to viewpoint and activate the detail tool. This is a pretty much good tool to have, because it will further put a layer of information on top of what we have in now. Even though some believe it's 2D is manual, but I believe there are some level where you need to do that. For example, let's place this by using a rectangle geometry method, and then I'm going to cover all this to there, and then I'll place the ID somewhere here, and then let's select it. I'm going to track a little bit of the geometry to my liking. Let's come here under marker section and change. I'm going to use this detail marker 01, and then if you move down here under the symbol and text, let's change the cloud to be a boundary shape. And then I'm going to change also the boundary shape to be a circle. Right, it should be a circle. Yeah. Then we move on to the other materials. Automatically to pick the settings of my pens, my new pens. Okay. Perfect. What's going on here? Let's go back. Instead of circle, this should be this one, and then yes, yeah, should be this. And then I'm going to fillet the corners by maybe 200. Change also the line type to be, I like to have it dotted. Hit OK, something like that. Wow, I can adjust the radius of the fillet just to have something around 6. Okay, you know, I like it sometimes to have this secondary information standard, because you are referencing something, you need to have it clearly outlined there. So I would use color red. So let me go back and see again the marker. These are on color 25. For the pen, this is for the marker headline. 25. So I'm going to go back to my, and then adjust this. It was 27, right? 27 is this one. Oh, what happened? Let's go back and confirm. This is 25. It's 25. I'm going to come here. 25, I'm going to make it red. Hit OK. Perfect. So that's pretty much it, how I want it. Yes, that's how you can place some of this information. I can also adjust the size of this circle. Where's the size? The radius. I should have the radius or the marker size. 15. Let's make it 10. All right. Perfect. So to open up your detail, you can select the marker here and right click to open with the current view settings, or you can once you've placed it, ArchiCAD will automatically register it under the details, so you'd find it here. Perfect. So you need to again go under its properties and go to the settings, change the pen sets to our custom pen sets so that you can have this kind of feel. Because this is a blown up detail, you tend to have pretty much everything exposed like you see. But if you've modeled well, there's really nothing you're going to do 2D or just to modify this. It's literally there. It's just to place additional information, like for example, I would want to dimension the projection of this window from here to there, and pretty much it's small. This needs to be at 4 maybe, and also the dimensions size, this 2. Okay, let me make this one 3. Yeah, something like that. Perfect. And then I can also dimension the profiles as well. I'll basically add more information about this. Okay, I can also dimension the place, the what you call the angle or the roof pitch. So like that. Oh, sorry about that. You have to first specify the anchor point of your pitch, then I will select the 2 wings, then go back and click, then you can place it. Perfect. So yeah, basically this is pretty much what I'd want, and then I'll add more details like annotations as well, because on the section I couldn't place much of the annotation, especially for these elements, for the purlins and stuff like that. So basically I'll leave this exercise for you because we already covered it on our section. Okay, let's move ahead. One most interesting part of this is to create 3D presentations, 3D section presentations view as well, for just to a little bit show or flex your muscles and present well your project. So let's go to the 3D window, and I'll choose a view that I would want to add like that. Mainly I would want to have it as a section, so I'm gonna go here on the floor plan. Then let's get or activate the marquee tool. I'm going to basically mimic this section like so. Let's just mimic this section like so, then hit F5 to isolate this. Okay, you can pretty much align it perfectly the way you want, like that. And from here, right, oh sorry, I need to, because you'd want to have the vertical lines to be really vertical. Sorry about that. Okay, I think for the sake of the demonstration, this should suffice. I'm gonna right click, then let's convert this into a 3D document. Let's hit on new 3D document. Then I'm going to give it a bit of a name, which is going to be a section perspective. Create. There we go. So if you go here under the 3D documents, this information will be captured. Okay, so what we need to do is to go under the properties of this and open the settings. Again, assign the pen sets we've created, right? And then I'm going to make the scales to be at least 1:50. There we go, so that it can give me all the details I want. All right, so one thing that I need to do is to right click and go to its 3D document settings. Under the model appearance, I want to activate the surface, the cover fill for the materials, and then hit OK so that I can have this applied there. Or I can also, maybe I don't like the color, the line, which is gray. Let me go back and can I change the color here? No, I can't. I cannot. But I can override the uncut pens to be on one color, which I don't like as well, because I still want to maintain my line weight principles. So let's go back and then let's see. Remember I talked about the hatching of the materials on the thing when we're creating the building materials. So let's select this and then go to options, elements. Let's go to building materials. What am I talking about? So this should be on let me see something first. Oh, so this should be on the surfaces. Should be on the surfaces, right? So if you go to options, elements, attributes, let's open the surfaces. You would see this brick red. We have the cover fill foreground. So if you open it, we have the pens for our cover fill. So I'm going to change this to be, this is under elements drafting, okay, which is pen 102. I'm going to go back and override on my pens. This is, I'm going to have this more like a dark gray kind of, okay, and 0.13 is fine. Wait, I'm going to override this. Like I'm saying, it's very key, guys, especially if you want to maintain consistency across your all projects. You'll have to do it this way, because once you've set this, you'll now have to export or implement it across all your future projects. I like doing this exercise again on every new project. So I'm giving away this information so that you can create your own templates, or you can even take this one that because I'm going to link this into the description so that you can download the final project. Maybe you can start it from there. You can track it to your own likings, your own standards, so that you can now save this as a template. Okay, so I'm going to override this, then hit OK, so that will be applied to your bricks. Okay, so one thing that I need to do, this one doesn't have a edge. I don't know why. So I'm going to select it, go back to the elements and surfaces, which is the corrugated sheets. Corrugated sheets, we need to have, where is it? I can search if I want. Select this. If you go here under foreground, you see we don't have a hedge. I'm going to find something that will mimic this pattern. So I know there is that wood plank. Yes, this is the one, wood plank. The problem with the wood plank, the lines are too close, so I might have to adjust the fill. So let's go hit OK and go to options, element attributes. Let's open the fields. Within this one, let's search for the wood blank because we want to adjust this. I'm going to duplicate this and then I'm going to call this corrugated vertical. Oh, that's how you spell corrugated vertical. I'm going to adjust the scale. Oh, sorry, where is it? Wow. I'm gonna search for corrugated. Let's adjust the scale to, I'm gonna go with 10. I know 10 might be something exaggerated, but let's see. Let's hit OK. And I'm gonna select this, go back to the surfaces and the attributes again. Where is your corrugated sheet? I'm going to change this to be corrugated vertical. Let's hit OK. Not pretty much. This is 0.13. Right, I'm gonna leave it at 0.13, which is pen 1. Hit OK. Perfect. It's pretty much close to what I want, but I want to have it on gray color. That will represent this much because I want everything on secondary to be on a lighter weight, and then everything that are on cut to be on heavier pen weight. So I'm going to go back to the options, element attributes, then adjust the pens for this to be, because this is a metal material or metal elements we are dealing with. I'm going to go to metal, yes, something like this. Hit OK. All right, I think this is pretty much it. So if we move on down to the footing, we're supposed to have the bricks for this. I think what we need to do is let me see, under the options, maybe the materials have been overrated. What happened? Okay, I see the materials here have been overrated. That's why even the bricks, it's not showing the thing. So I'm going to edit the profile. Then let's select this and then come here on the composite. Yeah, it's been overridden, so I'm going to uncheck this overrides, then hit on save. So if you go back to our element, it's going to be well represented. Perfect. So that's basically that in terms of this. So now we can move ahead, we can go ahead and place our annotations. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same exercise by using the label tool. And for example, I'll start with the roof. This time around, I want the justification of this to be on the right. I'm going to mirror it to the other side like that. Let's drag it by using this stretch to somewhere here. Double click on it. Let's get rid of these elements, insert the keynotes, and go to the roof section, roofing sheets. I'm gonna add the name, the title, and then the description. Okay, let's make sure we separate the two. Then I'm going to stretch this all the way to somewhere there. I don't know why the material is still on 76. I'd changed this earlier. I don't know why it didn't save. Maybe let's go back. Pen 76. I've changed this to be a dark gray. Maybe I didn't save. Okay, so I'm gonna pick parameters of this and then label the beams. This will be right aligned like I usually do. Get rid of the elements, insert under roof. Let's go for the prefabricated steel truss. Oh, sorry about that. I need to add the title first. Let's add the title first and then the description. Make sure again you separate the two elements like that. You can maybe adjust the curvature of your curve like that. Make sure everything is pretty much aligned. I can also do the purlins, like so. And let's go for purlins under steel. It must be this one. Alright, so I'll give you a chance to complete the entire exercise for the 3D because it's pretty much the same exercise we've covered when we're doing the section drawing. So I'll go ahead and complete this outside the screen, even if I'm not really accurate on the specification. It's just for the sake of this demonstration. What's going on with this one? Alright, for lastly, we're going to create the layouts and place all these drawings we've just created. So I'm going to go here under the layout book, and firstly in ArchiCAD what you need to do is to set up your master, because it's the way you host your, or where you are hosting your title block. So in this case I'm going to use the A1 landscape. I'm going to, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to get rid of everything to just have a clean what you call, or I can just leave it for the sake of this. Let me just leave the default ArchiCAD title block for this, and then I'll create a new sheet. Let me create a new sheet. You go here under this above the properties and then create a new sheet. I'm going to call it details, then change the master layout to A1, then hit create. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to the view map and select pretty much all the drawings that we've created so far. I'm going to go for the section detail and 3D documents. Let's drag them within our sheet. ArchiCAD will update that and place your elements. I can now align them the way I want. So that will be this. This should be 1:50. I don't know why it's that small. No, it should be 1:20 because it's a, what you call, it's a part wall section. So I'm going to go back, or can right click here and then open the source view. Then within the view map, let's go below on the properties and open the section. Set this to be 1:20. 1:20. I think that will ultimately adjust the size of your text. So maybe you have to maybe make them slightly bigger and modify it a bit like that. So if you go back, we'll have this more like blown up. Okay, I'm going to position it perfectly well here. Sorry about this, I'm going to delete it. something like this and there. Okay, what I like to do in ArchiCAD, so this is pretty much the drawing title. It's pretty much the default template. So I would select all the drawings and go to its settings. Then I'm going to go here under drawing title. So, oh sorry, under title, let's change this to be, I think built in, it's fine. But what you need to do is to set up, it doesn't have, okay, I need to change this to a linear drawing, okay? So that I come here and change the marker to be a circle. And what else again? Should you go back? I want the position of this to be on the drawing, right? And the distance between the drawing and the title, I think 10 millimeters is fine. So one thing that I need to change is to decide which side. I'm going to position it centrally to the drawing, or maybe, yeah, centrally to the drawing. Okay, and hit OK. I might need to reduce the length of this because it goes all the way. Let's go back, and instead of 290, make it 50. Perfect. So you have this pretty nice drawing title. And then again, the ID for the drawing title should be based on the layouts. So I'm going to select all this, and then here under ID, let's make this to be by layout, so that this should be named or numbered according to your layout. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. We've covered so many things in this tutorial. I hope you've learned a lot, and do me a favor, like and share this video with those that you feel they'll benefit from, and check all the links for the projects and all the materials that have been used for this or to create this video. Don't forget to check and subscribe to this video, to this channel, and I will see you in the next video. By the way, don't forget to check our newly 2025 MS BIM ArchiCAD template that is currently ongoing on pre-order. Is going to be released on the 28th of this February. So check the link and benefit from the offer, because it's half the price of the actual price when it's being released. So let me know in the comment section again what you think about this video. I will be right there to interact with you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.